I'll tell you how CNN got started.
Oh, that's a great
And that's
story.
one time Ted Turner never liked the FCC. I mean, the FCC would regulated Channel 17, and Ted hated the news. He felt news made people feel bad, so we put the news on at like 3 a.m. so nobody could see.
Was that when like Tish or whatever?
Right, Bill Tush.
Tush.
And he had he had a German Shepherd who was his co-anchor, and he'd have the gorilla climbing the building behind him and all that. It just it's really kind of a joke type of news. But Ted didn't like it, and he also didn't like the fact that these 30-year-old guys would come in once a year and they'd grill him and ask questions to get get his license renewed. And we always feared that Ted would get disgusted and storm out and would lose the license for Channel 17. And Channel 17 basically was it's a UHF TV station,
right?
And even though people would talk about him being in the cable industry, he really wasn't in the cable industry. The cable industry stole his signal. They would rob his signal and spread it around the country. And at that time, you didn't get any credit from Nielsen, and there was no advertising value for all these millions of homes that were watching on cable. So one night after he had all his sessions for renewal, we were relieved that he didn't. He behaved. He didn't do anything that would make him lose the license. So we went to dinner that night, and we were talking, and Ted said, well, we don't need the FCC anyway. We can go straight to cable. We don't have to have a broadcast signal. And if we don't have a broadcast signal, they can't tell us what to put on. So that's true. So he said, well, let's yank the signal. Let's yank the signal and just go straight to cable. And Jerry Hogan, who was the head of sales, said, Ted, we'll lose all our advertisers. They don't count cable homes. And so he said, but we could do another network. We could do our own network to go only on cable, and nobody had ever done that before. And so we sat there, we thought, all right, well, if we did that, what could we do? And we said, well, what if we did all sports? And Ted said, no, there are not enough sports. You could never do an all sports, cable network. And then I'm sitting there and I'm trying to think of radio has formats. I said, well, Ted, what if we did music? He said, music? That's stupid. Nobody's going to watch music on TV. That's ridiculous. There's no MTV then. And then we're going through it, and I'm thinking about WGST Radio in Atlanta. Had just become Atlanta's first all-news radio station. It was just all-news radio. And their theme was tune in, tune out, news whenever you want it. And so I said, well, how about news? Ted said, no, I hate news. News makes people feel bad. And besides, nobody's going to sit down and watch news 3 hours at night. I said, Ted, it's not 3 hours at night. You just rotate the 6 o'clock news. It's tune in, tune out, news whenever you want it. And he sat there. He said, news, news, news. He said, so if some guy kills his girlfriend and chops her up and puts her in a freezer, we could show the whole thing. And I said, well, I guess you could. He said, all right, we'll do news. And he jumped up, and then that was the birth of CNN.
And that's how I got started.
That's how he got started.